If you're struggling with addiction, I want to look at it from a different angle today. Not through symptoms or diagnoses or even behaviors, but through something quieter and more personal. Values. The kind of person you want to be. Because one of the most painful parts of addiction isn't just what it takes from you on the outside, it's what it pulls you away from on the inside. If you've ever had that disorienting feeling of thinking, this isn't who I am, or I don't like the person I'm becoming, this conversation is for you. I'm Phil Shea, an addictions counselor. I work with people dealing with gambling, gaming, substances, and behavioral addictions. A lot of the work isn't about convincing people that addiction is harmful. They already know that. The work is helping people understand why they feel so fractured, so conflicted, so far from themselves, even when they're still functioning on the surface. In acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short, there's a simple but powerful idea. Every action you take is either moving you toward the life you value or away from it. Toward moves, away moves. Addiction thrives in away moves. An away move isn't just using, it's everything that comes with it. The avoidance, the secrecy, the numbing, the postponing of the life you actually want to be living. If you value honesty, but you hide what's going on, that's an away move. If you value being present for your family, but you're mentally checking out every evening, that's an away move. If you value health, but you keep choosing short-term relief over long-term care, that's an away move. What makes addiction so painful isn't just the consequences, it's the constant friction of living out of alignment with yourself. There's a particular kind of suffering that comes from that. You might still be getting through the day, paying bills, showing up, but underneath, there's this low-grade guilt or restlessness that never quite goes away. A sense that you're betraying something important, that your actions don't match your beliefs, and over time, that mismatch starts to eat at your self-worth. People often mention that they feel like they've lost themselves, but that's not totally accurate. Your values don't disappear. If anything, they're still there, making themselves known through the discomfort. The pain you feel after acting against your values is information. It's your system saying, this isn't the life I want, in a way that actually clarifies them. Addiction has a way of convincing you that these compromises are necessary, that you'll fix things later, that right now doesn't count, that once the stress eases or the big problem gets solved, you'll realign with who you want to be, but later rarely comes, while the cycle is continuing to run, and the gap between your values and your actions slowly widens. This is where shame creeps in. People conclude that they must be bad, broken, or hypocritical, but ACT looks at this differently. The problem isn't that you don't care about your values, it's that you've been stuck in patterns that pull you away from them in the name of short-term relief. So, let's pause and get concrete for a moment. If you stripped everything else away, who do you actually want to be? Not what do you want to achieve, not what do you want to avoid, but the qualities you want to embody. Honest, reliable, present, kind, curious, steady, courageous. Now, ask yourself this, gently. Not as an attack. How has addiction been pulling you away from those qualities? How have your actions distanced you from what you care most about? It's a good starting point to discover clarity, which allows you to find your own true north. Once you recognize the gap, you also see the path back. ACT doesn't ask you to become a perfect version of yourself. It asks you to start making toward moves, small, deliberate actions that align with your values, even if you're uncomfortable. Strike that, especially when you're uncomfortable. If honesty matters to you, a toward move might be telling the truth in a situation where you normally dodge it. Not everything at once, just one honest sentence. If family matters to you, a toward move might be putting your phone down and being fully present for 10 minutes when you're with them. If health matters, choose rest or movement over numbing yourself. These actions don't erase the past, of course not, and they won't instantly fix relationships, but they do something crucial. They rebuild self-respect and remind you that you can act in line with who you want to be, even while struggling. Here's the hard part. Toward moves often feel worse in the moment than away moves. Addiction offers immediate comfort. Values offer long-term meaning. And when you're dysregulated, stressed, or exhausted, long-term meaning can feel abstract and weak compared to instant relief. That's the illusion addiction sells. The comfort now is more important than alignment later. But what it doesn't tell you is that every away move compounds the pain you're trying to escape. You avoid immediate discomfort in the short term, creating a deeper, more corrosive discomfort beneath the surface. Living by your values won't eliminate pain, but it will change the kind of person you're willing to tolerate. As the phrase goes, it's worthwhile to trade pain of regret for the pain of effort. Looked at another way, you're trading the pain of shame for the pain of vulnerability. And over time, these trades create real stability. They build character. ACT uses a simple tool called the choice point. In any moment, you can ask yourself one question. Is what I'm about to do moving me toward the person I want to be or away from that? That's it. It's not a moral judgment, but it is an important thing to consider. This is also why I've been mentioning creating friction around the choice to engage in the habit. That friction provides opportunities to step back and say, wait a minute, is this who I really am? You will still mess up. Everyone does. Recovery isn't about never making away moves again. It's about noticing them sooner and returning to your values faster. You don't have to wait for some dramatic reset. You can pivot in the very next moment. That's where freedom starts. If this is resonating with you and you want help applying this to your own situation, let me mention that I offer free consultations. No pressure or pitch, just a space to talk through what's been pulling you away from your values and how to start moving back toward them. The link's below if you want it. One of the most underrated parts of recovery is how it feels to come back into alignment. Not euphoric or dramatic, but steady and quiet. You begin trusting yourself again. You start recognizing yourself in the mirror. Other people will notice it too, often before you do. You feel more solid, even when life is still hard. Recovery is about returning to an identity that was always there, buried, waiting for room to breathe. So here's the invitation I'll leave you with. Identify one value that matters deeply to you. Choose just one, and then choose one small action today that moves you toward it. Not tomorrow, not after things settle down, today. I'm Phil Shea, addictions counselor. If this perspective helped you see your situation differently, subscribe for more conversations like this. And if you're ready to talk, the free consultation link's below. You may have lost your way, but that's because your compass is just pointed in the wrong direction, and directions can be changed. Once again, I'm Phil Shea, addictions counselor. Have a great day.